What up, my dudes, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you all how to make a shrimp ravioli that's absolutely to die for with a nice cream sauce. It's absolutely delicious, and as a bonus, it's completely gluten-free, but you can make it regular style if you just use regular all-purpose flour. I have tummy issues, okay? I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get started. As always, let's start with the ingredients we're going to need. We're going to be making our pasta first, so you're going to need some kosher salt, some gluten-free flour. You can replace this with regular if you're not gluten intolerant, and 5 eggs. And if your mix doesn't already have it, some xanthan gum. So let's get started. We're going to need 2 cups of flour. Again, you can use all-purpose regular if you're not gluten intolerant. Reserve a little bit of flour on the side in a bowl. You're going to need that for your pasta later. Add a ½ tablespoon of xanthan gum to this if your mixture does not already have it. If you're using regular flour, you don't need this. Go ahead and add some salt to taste. You don't have to use too much, no exact measurement, it'll be fine. And then whisk it together with a fork. And then we're going to make ourselves a little well for our eggs. Think of it as a bowl that you made with flour. Then pour in 4 eggs and 1 egg yolk. That's right, 4 eggs and 1 egg yolk. Pop those egg yolks, and then just start whisking it all together. Once you got it whisked all together and it's homogeneous, you just want to start working that flour into your egg yolks. And eventually it's going to form a little bit of a shaggy dough like this. At which point you're then going to come back and start kneading it by hand, making sure to scrape up any loose dough off the bottom. Push it together, mash it, and eventually this is going to turn into a nice dough ball. Once you have your dough ball, go ahead and coat the outside with a little bit of flour. And get it into a ball shape. Should feel like Play-Doh a little bit, but not overly sticky. Wrap it up in some saran wrap, and we're going to rest this in the fridge for 30 minutes. If you're using regular wheat, 100% necessary. Next, for our shrimp filling, we're going to go ahead and use chives, basil, ricotta cheese, about a ½ pound of shrimp, and some lemon. And, of course, 4 cloves of garlic. Now, go ahead and scoop your ricotta cheese into the bowl. Just use the whole container. I'm using a 15 or 16 ounce container. Chop up your 4 garlic cloves, like so. Just a little rough dice. You want to keep it kind of small. Doesn't have to be very uniform though. And we're just going to add that to our ricotta cheese. Chop up some chives off camera and reserve some in a salsa bowl and add it to your cheese. Then take about 4 basil leaves and just give them a nice little rough chop. We just want it to be there. We don't want it to be overpowering with the basil flavor, but you want it to be subtle. You want it to kind of know it's there, but don't know it's there. Kind of like Waldo. Next, go ahead and zest your lemon. We're just going to tap that right in there. Like so. This is going to give it a little bit of a bright note to it. And then we're going to go ahead and melt some butter in a pan. And once our butter is nice and melted, we're going to go ahead and add our shrimp to the pan. So we're going to take our shrimp and we're just going to fry these up in that butter. You want to get them just cooked. You don't want to overcook your shrimp, otherwise you'll get a rubbery texture. And we don't want that. We want a nice soft shrimp. Once you got your shrimp all cooked, we're going to go ahead and just give these a rough dice. You don't want these to be too large because it will overwhelm what you're feeling and tasting. You don't want them to be too small. You want to be able to tell it's there, but also don't want it to overwhelm texturally what you're tasting. Go ahead and taste for salt and pepper and season it now. Fresh cracked pepper is always better. And then we're just going to mix everything together. And because I forgot to do so earlier, we're going to go ahead and add some crushed red pepper flakes. Once we have added our crushed red pepper flakes into here, about a teaspoon worth, 2 teaspoons worth, depending on your spice tolerance, we're going to get it all mixed together, and then we're going to taste for salt and pepper. I ended up adding a little bit more salt and pepper just to get it where I liked it. This is going to be a personal preference for you. Then it's going to go into the fridge. Next, we're going to go ahead and take 3 shallots, have them, and give them a nice fine dice. And then we're going to set these aside for later because this is going to become our sauce. Next, we're going to go ahead and cut up our dough into 4 equal chunks. I used 3 and I paid for it later. And then we're going to go ahead and flatten down our chunk, get it nice and seasoned with some flour. so it doesn't stick. And then we're going to go ahead and try to put it through our pasta roller, realizing that the pasta roller does not want to stay still on our countertop because the clamp doesn't fit there. So we're going to have to find a different counter space and roll this off camera until our pasta is just barely see-through, like a nice fine lingerie. Next, we're going to go ahead and add our filling. Fold it over, and then you want to try to get all the air bubbles out. If you have too many air bubbles in this, it will burst in the pot. Punch it out with your ravioli stamp, or if you have a cutter, that works too, and then just go work around the edges to make sure everything is sealed. I got a nice ravioli. Because there's quite the learning curve on this, and I'm a noob to making ravioli, this is all I got. But, you know, sometimes we learn by doing. I ended up tearing a lot of them. So we're going to go ahead and saute our shallots and deglaze the pan with some white wine. And then we're going to scrape all of that off the bottom, and our camera's going to die briefly. Then we're going to add some heavy cream, about half a cup, while our camera is dead, and then bring this to a light simmer. And add some Parmesan cheese. Fresh is better, but you can use the pre-grated store stuff in a pinch, about 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit less, and then stir it together until that cheese is melted. Making sure to get your finger in the shot. Next, go ahead and add those reserved chives to this, and we just want to bring this to a light simmer until everything is incorporated together. Remember, when you're making ravioli, you always want to have your sauce ready before your pasta noodles, not the other way around. Always have your sauce ready. Next, we're going to boil our ravioli lightly in a light boil for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes, since it's fresh. And then we're going to go ahead and, with a spider strainer, or any strainer you have, add these to our sauce. Give them a nice light toss to coat until they are covered like so. You can smell that ravioli through the screen, can't you? It's delicious. Go ahead and plate that messily onto a plate. This will make 2 servings of ravioli right here. Now, if you have more, you can actually put it in the freezer for later.
It tastes. It's creamy, light. The fennel comes in just enough to know it's there. Oh, it's tasty. It's almost like a poor man's lobster ravioli. I'm gonna go eat my dinner now.
And there you have it, a delicious shrimp ravioli. I am going to warn y'all there is kind of a learning curve on this one. But regardless, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, let me know what you want me to cook next. Really helps me out. And as always, toodles.